Life of Pi. Today we are going to talk about a film directed by Ang Lee, about a man who is connected to nature, barbarism, civilization, survival, and law. Ang Lee won the Best Director Oscar at the 85th Academy Awards, and the second time Brokeback Mountains has won the award. The storyline revolves around an Indian named Pi Patel telling a novelist about his life story and how, at 16, he survives a shipwreck and is adrift in the Pacific Ocean on a lifeboat with a Bengal tiger. Pi, a young boy, has been living in a wealthy family in India. Since his childhood, his father has opened a large zoo, and Pi has everything, including food, a house, and clothing. He believes that God could bring happiness and peace to his family and Indians. He believed in Hinduism, Catholicism, and Islam, but his father often warned him. Human belief is not too complex. It takes a belief to truly understand the truth. Ignorant and juvenile Pi feels that his world feels like a story in a book. He thinks that there is a genuine connection between everything in this world. If only he can speak to other species sincerely, and they will surely feel his kindness. The zoo has a pet named Richard Parker, which is a beagle tiger. Pi thinks that as long as they get to know each other, tigers will probably become like his pet, like a friend of his own. So he secretly came to the tiger cage, ready to hand a piece of meat to the tiger, but he did not know that in the eyes of the tiger, he is only a fresh, delicious food. Thanks to his father, if he had felt it, the consequences would have been disastrous. Father, in order to let young Pi experience the cruelty of the world, he tied a lamb to the spot where Pi was standing. Pi pounced and dragged the lamb into the cage, and Pi is terrified after that thing happened. The real world is far beyond Pi's imagination. With brutal competition from every species, birth is birth, no creature can choose or escape. As Pi grows older, he becomes sexually attracted to the opposite sex. Then she met an Indian girl named Anadi. It allowed him to see again the beauty of the world. However, the good times did not last long because of the current situation. His father's zoo, facing the danger, in order to survive, his father sold most of the animals through his friends for the whole family to move to Canada. He and the Indian girl named Anadi will also face the breakup. When parting, Anadi tied a string of bracelet Pi again on his wrist. Pi stood the bow again, look at the sea of the sunset. Now they're already at the boat and it's dinner time. The Pi family usually eats vegetarian food, but the cook on the boat is so rude that he dosed vegetarian food with gravy. This caused Baba's displeasure and scuffled the cook. But it didn't work out. Finally, one of the Japanese sailors on the boat came forward to persuade him. In fact, gravy are not meat, but the family still hasn't eaten. Beliefs cannot be changed unless they are absolutely necessary. Crossing the sea to sail on the fourth day, the sea suddenly blew up a storm. The rain poured down. Pi woke up in the middle of the night, but he did not understand the current situation in the end, how dangerous. Standing at the side of the boat, he spread out his hands and enjoyed the storm. But a big wave hit and down plunged into the sea. Pi did just know that the danger has come. Less than a minute, the sea has covered the cabin. Pi turned into the water to rescue parents and relatives, but in the face of nature, little Pi failed. When he came back to the deck again, he found that the ship is going to sink. The kind sailor pushes him into the lifeboat. Pi loses his footing and suddenly a zebra jumps down the ship and landed into the lifeboat. The waves hit and the ship was swept into them. He's watching his loved ones sink onto the bottom of the ship. The Black Sea was lifeless. Before Pi can breathe, he is going to face the immediate danger of survival. After the storm, 4 different species of creatures were on the boat. a zebra that had fallen from the high altitude of the ship and broken its leg, and an orangutan that had been sitting on the pile of bananas, and a fierce and hungry hyena. And Pi was on the canvas with a dazed look in his eyes. Hyenas start attacking the wounded zebra, but Pi and the orangutan choose to side with the zebra. Like this, the hyena did not succeed, and then the next day, Pi just woke up from sleep only to find out that the zebra had been killed by the hyena. The orangutan was also killed. This part really made me sad. When the hyena's furious eyes are on Pi, ready to attack, suddenly a flash of yellow light flies into the sky. Richard Park came out of the bottom of the barn and tore the hyena into pieces. The danger was fresh on Pi's mind when he was a child. Pi fashions a small theatercraft from flotation vests, to which he retreats for safety from Richard Parker. Despite his moral code against killing, he begins fishing, enabling him to sustain the tiger as well when the tiger jumps into the sea to hunt for fish and then comes threateningly towards Pi. Pi considers letting him drown, but ultimately helps him back into the boat again. One night, a humpback whale comes too close to the boat, destroying the raft and its supplies. Pi trains Richard Parker to accept him in the boat and realizes that caring for the tiger is also helping him keep himself alive. Pi begins to cut the fish into pieces to feed the tigers, and slowly they came into an agreement. It seems that Parker knows that he is in a hostile environment. Pi is his indispensable companion in life. They are dangerous to each other, yet they care for each other as well. As Pi writes in his diary, he says that without Parker, I would have died of loneliness and despair. Weeks later, they encountered a floating island of interconnected trees. It is a lush jungle of edible plants, fresh water pools, and a large population of meerkats, enabling Pi and Richard Parker to eat and drink freely and regain strength. At night, the island transforms into a hostile environment. Richard Parker retreats to the lifeboat while Pi and the meerkats sleep in the trees. The water pools turn acidic, digesting the fish inside them. Pi deduces that the island is carnivorous after finding a human tooth embedded in a flower. That's when Pi realizes that it was a man-eating island. The next morning, he hastily gathered a large of food and left with Parker. After many more days of conquering the ocean, they eventually reached the coast of Mexico. Pi was so weak while he's swimming near the shore